Hello and welcome to today's video. A friend of mine suggested that I do a sculpture from the new Trolls movie. And I haven't seen the new Trolls movie, so I thought, well, I'll go into the old Google, see what I can come up with. And I was looking at it and I'm like, nothing really here strikes as, something I want to sculpt. And if it's, I'll sculpt stuff out of my comfort zone, but I have to have that inspiration for it. And when I did that search, some older troll dolls, ones that I remember as a kid, showed up in my search. And I thought, it'd be kind of fun to do my version of one of these. And then I did a little more research, and I discovered that the troll dolls were even older than I had originally thought. And I thought they were maybe early 70s. I remember having them in probably late 70s, early 80s, and I knew they'd been around for a while then. I think they were my brother or sisters. So I found out that the original troll doll in this style was from 1959. So I thought that was just kind of interesting to learn that little tidbit. So I thought I'd pass that on to you. But anyways, kind of getting off track as I often do. So I thought for today's video, I would do my version of the classic troll doll. So I have my desk ready, I have my tools, I have my clay, and I have the reference picture of the troll on my phone. So I'm going to set that up so I can use that as I'm sculpting. I also have a couple of black beads here that I'm going to use for the troll's eyes. So I did have a little bit of Super Sculpey left over from a previous box. So I'm just softening that up. And like I said, I'm using Super Sculpey for this one. It's a little bit different than Primo. Now I'm just taking some foil and I'm going to make a ball shape for the body. Kind of want him to be just a little round, chubby body for this troll. Now I'm taking some green Primo and mixing it with the Super Sculpey. And I don't want it to be necessarily 100% mixed in, but I don't want it to be marbled either. Just kind of, I want to say almost like a little bit patchy. So once I have that mixed and softened, I'm going to go ahead and cover the foil ball. I'm putting a wire in there that I'm going to attach his head to. Now I rolled out some clay for the legs. I'm doing the same thing for these little stubby arms. Smoothing it in with my silicone tool. Now I'm rolling out some clay that I'm going to use for the troll's butt. So I'm just going to apply that and sculpt that into shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and make his feet. So I'm just rolling out two pieces, make them about the same size, smooth them on with the ball tool, do the same thing for the hands. And I use the needle tool and a small ball tool to add some details in the belly button. Now I want to add the fingers and the toesies. But before that, I'm going to go ahead and I added some texture. I didn't want it to be all smooth. So I'm just going to go ahead and add his fingers. I just roll out 3 balls. He's going to have 3 fingers and 3 toes. So I'm doing 3 little balls on each. So I'm getting his toesies now. And I want him not to be totally flat since his feet are up. They're kind of like, almost like a little bit curled. Just so that adds a little bit of dimension there. Now I rolled out a foil ball for the head. So I'm going to go ahead and put some clay over that. Now I am leaving it completely open on the top. And that's where I'm going to put the hair in. So I'm bringing up that brow area a little bit and doing some indentions for those pearls, those black pearls. Putting those in. So I'm happy with how those are lined up. I'm going to go ahead and sculpt in some of the facial details. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the eyelids. Get those smoothed in with my small ball tool. Now I'm going to go ahead and build up some cheeks. I want them to have a nice, full smile. So I'm going to build up some more clay underneath there, and then I can start adding his nose. So using the reference picture, I used that, and I ended up making the nose probably a little bit bigger, and it kind of made him look like a little old man, which is totally fine. I thought it was a really cute look for this guy. Got the head on there once, but I didn't like the position, so I repositioned it. kind of adjusted it so it has, you know, I didn't want it just to be straight on there. So now I'm sculpting the ears, going to give him some like little elf ears. But when I put those on there, he looked more like Yoda or Baby Yoda. So I decided to go ahead and give him some rounded ears. So he's got these nice big rounded ears, which made him look even more like a little old man, which was, you know, perfect. So I went ahead and smoothed those in, adding some details, indentions with the small ball tool, and going back over with the larger ball tool. Just getting all that done. All right, so the next thing I want to do after I get these details done is I want to make the toenails. So I decided to make them lighter. I could have done them darker, but then maybe they look painted, so I just mixed some lighter clay in with that mixture. And then I went with a small ball tool and did little indentions on each finger and toe. Then I cut out little pieces of clay and shaped them. So you can see here, I'm just applying them, adding a little bit of pressure so they stay put. I don't want to do them too much so they distort. And then I'm going to go ahead on some of these, I'm cutting off some of the excess clay to give them kind of a flat look on the top. And getting the rest of these in place. This took a good chunk of time to add all these little toenails and fingernails to it. It took, you know, about half as much time as it did to do the whole piece. So just a little bit of information there. So I'm just touching up the details, making sure everything looks okay before I bake him and add his hair. So I think I'm happy with how he looks, just got his toenails touched up. Now I'm going to go ahead and bake him according to package instructions. Now that the troll is baked and cooled down, I'm going to go ahead and dig the foil out. I have these curved pliers and this works really well for this. I'm not worried about getting all the foil out, but I wanted to get enough that I could put some wool roving in there for his hair. So I'm just going to dig that out as much as I can. Makes quite a mess, but I'm going to tear some of the wool roving off. That looks like that'll work. So now I'm just going to use my needle felting needles to kind of go over the base of that and give it a little bit of density, so if I want to glue it in place. So it looks about right, but it's still not quite dense enough, so I went ahead and took some polyester fiber fill that I had bulked up for something else to use, so I didn't have to get out my foam base that I normally use for my needle felting. So I'm just getting it a little more dense so it stays in there a little bit better. I like that, but it's not quite going in far enough, so I'm going to go ahead and dig out some more of my foil. And I'm just being very careful because, you know, there's that pressure when you sculpt around that foil, and you don't want to crack anything when you do it. But when I did this, that hair stayed in there really well, and I was able to hold him up with the hair, so I didn't even bother gluing it. So now I did make a couple of holes in his ears that I wanted to have tufts of hair coming out. So I thought I would take a toothpick and some super glue and stick that in those holes, and then just take a little bit of the wool roving. I just want just a tiny bit and just stick it in there so he looks like he's got some hair growing out of his ears. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let him dry for a bit. It doesn't have to be overnight, even though that's what the image looks like. And here is the finished troll doll. Overall, I'm really happy with this guy. I like the way the glass beads worked for the eyes. I like the way the Super Sculpey holds the detail. You can see some of the little lines and markings in his fingernails. So that worked out really well. I like his little troll butt there. And I like the way that, his texture on his skin, it's not smooth with that I did with that ball tool. You can see how his little toesies are hanging over his feet, his little belly button. But yeah, I'm really happy how this guy turned out. He was a very fun piece to do, a little bit different. I like using that wool roving for the hair. The stuff I got for this color is pretty high quality, and it works really well. And you can see here that it's, it keeps its form, but you can kind of adjust it and mess with it. So, he's just a fun little character to have on my shelf now. I'll go ahead and let you take a good 360-degree look at the character, see the whole thing. But that wool roving really fills up the top of his head. You can't even tell that there's, you know, a hole there. There's no gaps or anything. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. If you have ideas for future videos, please leave them in the comments down below. Alright, thanks for watching, and remember, never stop creating. Bye.